Hello everyone, I'm Sherry with the CGH Health Foundation. I'm a health coach and an amateur chef, and I'm back with another easy healthy recipe for the What's Cooking CGH video series. So I love cookies. Who doesn't love cookies? Even health coaches love cookies. I don't eat a lot of them because for me they're one of those addictive foods. It's that combination of the sugar and fat and a little bit of salt in most of them. If I eat cookies, I just want to eat more of them. But I do treat myself to cookies once in a while, especially during the season. And my favorite cookies are the cutout sugar cookies that are made with butter and have icing on them. I do not eat commercial cookies, so the packaged stuff on the shelf. And I don't know if you've ever looked at the ingredients in a package of commercially baked cookies, but there are lots of things in there that kind of give me pause. Artificial coloring, artificial preservatives, there's high fructose corn syrup sometimes, there's palm kernel oil, which is saturated fat. I actually looked up the recipe for a very famous chocolate chip cookie and found all of those things. If I am going to treat myself to a cookie, it's going to be a home-baked cookie. And sometimes if I have a cookie craving, but I don't want to blow my diet, I like to have these little recipes in my back pocket with very simple ingredients, very small batch. And so I can treat myself to a cookie here and there without having dozens of cookies around and making me eat all the cookies. The ones I'm going to do today, it's an almond cookie, and it is just 2 ingredients if you count out the salt. It's got a little bit of salt in it. And these cookies is a very small batch. It only makes 6 cookies, and it's perfect to have on hand or to be able to whip up a small batch of cookies and again not have a whole lot of them on hand. I'm going to start off by getting my baking sheet ready, and so I have some parchment paper that I already kind of cut to size, and I'm going to crinkle it up. If you've seen some of my other videos, you saw me do that with some of the other ones. And by crinkling it up, it lays in the pan a little flatter, and it also helps so that the cookies don't stick as much. Although they don't stick much to the parchment paper, that's just a little bit extra assist. These cookies are kind of sticky, and so in addition to the parchment paper on the cookie sheet, we're going to give it a little spray with cooking spray. So I have some avocado oil spray here, and I'm just going to shake it and give it a quick little spritz over the the parchment paper. And I'm going to keep that on hand. I'm going to need it again in a minute. So we'll set the cookie sheet aside and we'll get to our cookies. So almond flour, and all it is ground up almonds. The skins have been taken off. And for this recipe, we're going to use just a cup of almond flour. And so I'm going to measure out a cup. I chose a fine ground almond flour, so look for that. Just gives your cookies a little bit of a better texture. And most almond flours, or a lot of them, I keep mine in the freezer, so it does tend to get these little clumps in it. And I like to just go through it with my fingers and kind of break up the clumps. And as we're mixing it with the other ingredient, they'll soften up a little bit and break up. Just make sure that you don't have any big clumps of almond flour in there. I think I got most of them out. Okay, so that was 1 cup of almond flour, and the only other ingredient is some maple syrup. So maple syrup is what's going to add the sweetness. It adds some flavor. I am going to put just a dash of salt in there, not very much. And for 1 cup of almond flour, a healthy 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I'm going to just a little over a 1/4 cup there. And I'll set that aside. Get all of that. You could use a lot of different liquid sweeteners. Pretty much any kind would work. And this recipe is so simple, but it gave me a lot of ideas. I was thinking about I could try it with honey. and put some lemon zest in there. I thought that would be really good. The other thing you could do is maybe add a little bit of cream of tartar and then roll your cookie balls in some cinnamon sugar and make kind of a snickerdoodle version of it. But as you can see, I'm looking in there and checking to see if I have any of those chunks of almond flour. But we get kind of a crumbly dough when all is said. It is well moistened. Okay. Looks pretty good. I think I have all of the maple syrup mixed in. And I've got all of those clumps of almond flour broken up. So there is our cookie dough. Let's bring back the cookie sheet. Where we are. And I'm going to use the cookie scoop right here. And so I'm going to pack that cookie scoop and put them on the oiled parchment. As you can see, 3, 4 cookies, 5, maybe a little more than 6. I don't think I have enough left for a whole other cookie, so we'll set that aside for now. So as I said, this dough is kind of sticky, and so I'm going to take the added precaution of spraying my fingertips, because we do want to pat them down into a disc. They're not going to spread out like a typical cookie made with flour and butter would. So I'm just going to spray my fingertips a little bit, and I'm going to pat the cookies down into a little disc shape. And get all those edges kind of tucked in there so they look neat and tidy. Get them all about the same size. Oops. Unoiled finger at work. And there you go. So my oven has been preheating to 350 degrees, and these cookies are going to go in the oven for about 10 or 12 minutes. You just want the edges of the cookie to be a nice golden brown. I'll show you one in just a second. I'm going to stick this in the oven. And timer. Let me show you some that I baked earlier. So there's my cookie. If you look closely, you can see that the edges are just lightly brown. There's the bottom too. And let's give them a taste. That hits your cookie craving. Give these cookies a try and let me know what you think. We'll see you next time.